The ownership of Italian sports car company Maserati has been confusing to say the least. It's been under the watchful eye of Fiat, Ferrari and Alfa Romeo to name just a few. But over a decade later, it remains a truly Italian company, and if we know one thing about Italian cars, they're designed beautifully. Think Pininfarina for one. Its latest offerings, although dressed to impress and styled to a T, have been pretty usual. A pair of saloons and an SUV make up the current Maserati garage, after the GranTurismo and GranCabrio were discontinued at the end of last year. But earlier this month, the company released plans to introduce a new sports car to the tables. It's called the MC20 and is named after Maserati Corse, which refers to its racing intentions, and the year 2020, which is said to be the start of the brand's new era. Gone are the V8 that are featured in many of the Italian automakers' cars in favour of a twin-turbocharged 3-litre V6. Still, 630 horsepower and 730 Newton-meters of torque are nothing to turn your nose up at. This in-house engine, the first in over 20 years in fact, promises a 0 to 62 time of 2.9 seconds and a top speed of over 200 miles per hour, and Maserati is really proud of it. Power is sent through an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission directly to the rear wheels for this MC20. The design process involved the company's Innovation Lab engineers, technical specialists from the Engine Lab, and design from the Style Centre, and spanned a period of no less than 24 months. Tireless track and road testing was carried out before the car was given the go-ahead. Some of the most slick design features include optimized aerodynamics, which took over 2,000 man-hours in the Dallara wind tunnel to finesse, the butterfly doors, and a discreet but functional rear spoiler. This all helped the MC20 achieve a drag of 0.38. The Italians wanted the driver to feel as engaged as ever behind the wheel, and in doing so, the result is spectacular. Every component has a purpose. Simple forms, very few sharp edges, and minimal distractions make up the center console. Of course, Maserati could not do without the driver mode selector, which features GT, Wet, Sport, Corsa, and Traction Off for the most intense experience. Almost unthought of in a car like this, Maserati has even installed a built-in Alexa and Wi-Fi hotspot and developed a smartphone and smartwatch app for the car. But this is just the start. The company claims that the platform is set up equally to accommodate a coupe and a convertible. A convertible is not the only thing that should not be ruled out. There's even talk of an electric version. Speaking to British magazine Top Gear at its launch in Modena, Italy, Luigi Schiaretta, the man we have to thank for this car, confirmed a triple electric motor setup. One for the front wheels and two for the back, this electric supercar is said to produce over 700 horsepower, which will be needed to shift the extra weight of the batteries. Still, he believes the instant torque should shift the car to 62 miles per hour in 2 seconds flat. While the V6, launching next year, will hold the hefty price tag of $210,000, that's £190,000, the 2022 electric model will likely cost even more. For those following the latest in automotive news, these expected figures sound very similar to another car whose manufacturer promises 0 to 62 in around 2 seconds. Also with a price tag of around $200,000, these cars square up to each other quite nicely. We're talking about the Tesla Roadster, of course, which, as if by coincidence, is launching in the next 2 years and features a triple-motor all-wheel drive setup. The Roadster was announced at the Tesla Semi event on November 16, 2017, as a surprise one last thing moment, described by Musk as a hardcore smackdown to gasoline cars. Let's take a look at both cars side by side. In the Maserati, although more refined than its other models, we see a more messy and disorganized interior, while the Tesla makes use of a futuristic supersized touchscreen and quirky steering wheel, as if it were straight out of a flying saucer. Outside, the Roadster's line seems smoother, while the MC20 aims to make a bolder statement. Which of these two do you think looks the best? We don't know what the future holds, but it's highly unlikely Maserati has been working on something that rivals Elon Musk's ambitious plan. June 2018 saw the revelation that he plans to introduce cold gas thrusters to the car, which supposedly improve maneuverability, that's cornering, acceleration, top speed and braking. With both cars promising similar 0 to 62 times and costing upwards of $200,000, which would you prefer? A Maserati, which has its roots deeply buried in a racing history, or futuristic Tesla, which has hit the automotive market running? Is Tesla's name and experience in the EV market enough to take the sales of the MC20? Let us know which one you would buy, and more importantly, why.